Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. What's up, Lindsay? How's it going? I haven't seen you in a minute. I haven't streamed in a little while. It feels like a little while. It's only been a couple of weeks. What's up, Milo? Right, let's flick this around, shall we? Let's flick this around. What's good? What's good? What's good? How we doing? How are we doing? So, Tanya, good evening from me in Denmark. Wonderful to have you. Thank you for dropping into the chat. How's it going? Is this your first live stream, Tanya? Lindsay says, life has been crazy, but missed you all. I'm guessing a bunch. Yeah, it's been pretty, it's just like so much night, you know what I mean? It's been real quiet, it's been nice and easy, you know, life's been real chill, you know? Real chill. This is what I'm replicating again today. I started drawing it while I was waiting to come on, and I'm gonna do it from scratch this time, as in like, what I mean by that is I'm going to just start it again. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to practice a type of like design like this where there is a little bit sort of working out lighting and also different color combinations. I said this last week as well. So just trying to work out all those little color combinations to see what we can come up with. I'm getting immense deja vu right now. And on this layer, I will just erase all of that off of there. Hold fire. I'll be with you in just a second. Let's get rid of all this. Let's get set up, ready to go. And let's just sort of dig into this landscape a little bit, up into that, and just erase from there. Messing around with different brushes, seeing what we can come up with. And I love drawing, as you know, mountains as it is. So I just want to make sure I don't forget any of the techniques and brushes and stuff like that. So I keep redoing it, you know. Keep wanting to make sure. Also, check out the brand new merch with the new sort of paint streak negative space logo. I've pulled the tassels out of the, whatever you want to call them, out of the hoodie, but just a simple, clean design negative space logo. I think it looks real sick. Although it's the worst thing I could be wearing right now because I wanted to show you guys before I probably dipped out of it. Lindsay says, I have been drawing and even done a few commissions. I'll get in. Tanya says, no, I have seen 2 other live streams. I've learned so much from you and I'm happy. I'm a happy Patreon member. I appreciate the support. I really do. It is a very clean hoodie. Just simple, clean, just like, yeah, I rate it. Like, I wore it to the shops earlier and it's just like, it could be anything. It could be anything at all. I went for like an extra large this time because the sizes were a little bit smaller in the last one. So I've gone for an extra large and it's just like lovely and baggy, just like real comfy. And I like that kind of fit. Right, let's crack on, shall we? So, again, this is kind of what I'm going for, is I want to go for something that's got this like wonderful palette, but then just like this, the tops are just like little sun-kissed peaks and stuff. I was messing around with different effects. Don't take that into consideration too much. But yeah, that's the vibe I'm going for. And I'm probably going to make some adjustments to the palette and stuff as we go, just to see what we come up with. So last time I streamed was the day before my birthday. So it's been a while. It's been like just over 2 weeks, I think. Then she says artwork for music singles. Actually kind of proud of myself. That's awesome. I rate that feeling as well because I did an album cover for it, or a single cover a while ago, and it took ages, and I didn't sometimes with like music artists, they typically like go to like a few different people and then just pick which one they like prefer the most or relates to the song the closest or something like that. And I assumed that they'd gone with something else, but it worked out that they hadn't, and they went with it. So it's really cool to see that recently. It's always a bit like nerve-wracking. You think, oh, did I not do a good enough job on that? Like, did they just go with someone else's approach instead? Like, what did they do? And then out of nowhere, the single comes out. You just don't realize how long these things take for these things to go through and whatnot. And yeah, such a cool feeling, isn't it? Lindsay, make sure to send me some of them on like Discord or something, or like Instagram messages, whatever you want. Or no, you can't send them on Threads, can you? There's no messaging just yet. By the way, if you're not following me over on Threads, you can do that now if you want. There's a link on my website if you want to go and do that. I actually really like it as a platform, you know. Like, it's great to see other people as well. I've been like quite closely following like Rishi Draws and stuff, like seeing a lot of his content in my feed and whatnot, which is pretty cool. 2 weeks without a live stream. Has it been 2 weeks? I was off then on the Wednesday. Yeah, it's been like one off technically, but yeah, it's been just over 2 weeks. Thank you, Irish Molly. I appreciate it. Right, let's carry on, shall we? Okay, so same techniques really I've been doing plenty of times now. And it's just the same process really. And I enjoy it so much. I was recently looking back at all of the tutorials I've released this year on Patreon, and like, because I can see that and obviously everything that's coming, like I had like a real happy moment where I just appreciate the work that I've done this year, like really happy with my work as well. Like just progression, just general progression in yourself and stuff is really like important to notice, especially in your art skills and stuff. Just like taking a look back, seeing what you've done in like the last 12 months, it's always a good gauge. It's really easy to like get hooked up on like, well, I need to see like compared to last week or something like that, but that's really like that'll ruin you. Let's just quickly go to the palette. Let's duplicate that, and we'll change that color to that one. I think we'll grab this color and we'll replace this one here. I want to have that lovely little bit of contrast between like front and back, as we always do. Lindsay says, yeah, I don't think I can share it until after a certain date, but we'll do when I'm able. All this from the girl who failed my art GCSE. That's exactly it. You can pick up anything at any point in life and just, you know, learn a whole new set. I mean, 3 years ago, I wasn't making YouTube videos for anything in any form, or I wasn't digitally drawing. And now, I just speak to millions, you know, daily, and I just inspire so many. That's a load of rubbish. What's up, Robs? How's it going? Cool. Let's crack on, shall we? I'm thinking of adjusting this shape. No, actually, let's leave it. Let's leave that like that. Let's just carry on as it was. We'll do the same processes I've always done, and go from there. So that color, that color, that color, light color, into these colors as well. Okay, let's crack on with this. The brush was artistic crayon, wasn't it? Yeah. And we will just start to paint in some like the brighter areas. This is quite a weird thing to do because you're like painting in your highlight tones in like an area where like maybe they could be typically like white or something, whereas this is like super colorful. And I think that's really important to try and like push yourself to use different colors sometimes, and you know, dare to step out your comfort zone. I get really comfortable with certain sets of colors all the time. You know, it's really easy to do that. What's up, Kevin? How's it going? I can't go. Tesco's a nightmare. I've had to start going to Marks and Spencer's. It's just the easiest way, you know. Irish Molly says, I never thought I would like digital art, but now I'm doing it, I'm hooked. That's the thing, like, as well, like, you can break from digital art, you can come back to it, and like, it's, you can easily feel like you never stepped away. Like, you can easily feel like, you know, you can just pick right back up where you were. Just a couple of sort of pieces just to get you sort of moving again and get the sort of muscle memory back, and you're back in it. You know, if you can stick at it as well, like, it will just, you'll develop so much quicker. But like, I was talking to James like quite a few weeks ago now, but of like just the space, and saying like in the summer, just it just falls off a cliff. Procreate, like the space, like obviously people like Flow and stuff like continuously always do really well, but like the summer is just such a tough one, because people are just out in the sun and they put their pens down and whatnot, and you know, I'd love people to continue to like just keep at it while the sun's out still. You know, try not to just drop your pencil too much. Keep at it, not just for views and stuff. I mean, just for like your skill sets and stuff. Like, you don't want to just it to completely just drift away. You know, you don't want to lose all those little things that you've picked up. Just like, not just muscle memory, like movement wise, but also, you know, little things that you've picked up, like how to maybe light this and light that kind of thing, and you know, little areas like that that you can easily sort of slip from memory. But sticking at it is the key. Sticking at it is key for sure. I just realized I need to make another like cutout for these hoodies here, so we can get the new ones up and on there, you know. Yeah, Rob, like for sure, like it can just be such an escape from so many things as well. Then he says, oh, I did see James's landscape in a jar. Yeah, I said to James, that thing is sick. Like, such a cool concept. It's cool when you can like sort of merge like two kind of things together, and like with his like skills of the landscapes and stuff, it's very cool to see how that came together. We all have the same 24 hours. Irishman says, here in Texas, it's so hot, I'm staying inside and drawing. Yeah, I bet. I guess there's like a window, isn't there, like where people are out and about enjoying the sun, and then there's like, that's too hot. Could be too hot. Cool. Let's maybe just block in a little bit more here, like little smaller areas of colour. This colour looks a little bit trippy against this background. Little scuffs here and there. Just trying to create like little ridge lines and whatnot with a slightly smaller pen. Like, I've been drawing so many other things. I know like it probably appears to you guys like I just draw mountains. Like, I wake up, I draw a mountain, and then I go to work. But I have literally not done any of them for a little while, and this is why I like to just bring them back up, because they're my favorite thing to draw, and I want to always remember like the brushes that I go to and all the other little techniques here and there. Create a layer for the shadows, which is technically this tone, but I feel like that might need to get a little bit darker. Oh, Jesus. These wonderfully premium hoodies with their high, you know, fleecy inside is just, oh, it's just cooking me right now. Links in the description. Irish model, you shouldn't buy one of these hoodies for sure. This will cook you. This will finish you off. Lindsay says, did a few of yours while I was away from the Discord and stream still. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed them. Lynn says it was a lot of doing James's mountain in a jar. Lighthouse in a jar one, yeah, for sure. Pretty close. create like a little bit of a little random shape line here where that larger one just runs down and in front, and then just create little areas based off of where I've added my highlights, get right underneath them, I think. Yeah. I have to go back in and block in those highlights a bit more. I've kept them really, really light from one another. I'm kind of drawing it in rather than like in a minute letting the eraser do the work, which I normally do. But this one appears like I'm just drawing it all in. So, one thing we need to discuss is a month today, I'll be getting married. And there's nothing to worry about content-wise. Everything, and I'm going to put up a post on Patreon about this anyway, just so everyone's aware, you know, like, I won't, you know, I know it's a month away, but like, I just want people to know, like, I won't be ignoring them or anything like that. Like, it's just that I won't be on socials in any form, but everything will be scheduled to go out. You'll still get all the wonderful content that you expect. Like Patreon tutorials will continue to be flying out the door while I'm off. Yeah, I'll put up a post, like I said, on Patreon probably once August starts, just letting people know, you know, that will be the case. And especially because I don't want new people joining and then being like, oh, this guy's like not very active. It's like, I love saying hello to new faces, but yeah, I don't want them to think I'm just being ignorant. Just block that in there a little bit. We're leaving little areas. Let's go back to this color, I think, and then go back. Lindsay says, did the pool and star recently. Love those ones. See, like, I kind of went back to like my early kind of styles with those ones, you know, like making sure like there's some like easy silhouette kind of work. That's always very fun for people. And I enjoy them to an extent. I talk about this battle all the time of like trying to push myself and push the content, but also I just have this like mentality where I just have to keep trying to push further and further and like push the limits a little bit, and like in my own skill set. And then obviously I make tutorials about those things as well, and I'm like, dude, you need to make sure you're still accommodating for people that are just getting started. And you know just don't forget there is a simple option here as well. Like, you know, we can create tutorials that are a little bit easier, you know, a little bit quicker, all this kind of, you know, mindset all the time. What should we do? We'll go, no, actually, we'll do it on the same layer. We'll go in then with a brighter tone and start to flush out some brighter spots up on here, leaving little gaps here and there. I think we could maybe get away with like blocking it in. Oh, do I actually want to separate that? We'll separate them. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, mate. Mine says, oh my God, really? Are you excited about the wedding? Every time I think about it, I get like proper excited about it. In terms of like my stomach starts to go. I can feel my heart rate change a little bit and stuff. Like, just exciting. It's just gonna be so fun. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because like I know a few friends occasionally watch, so I don't want to reveal any sort of little things that we've like planned and stuff, but I can't wait. And you know, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. It is exciting, Robs. It is. Rob says, so I'm looking forward to seeing pics, Joel. Are we gonna see any? Yeah, for sure. I'm still not sort of certain about what I may or may not do on the day. I've said this loads of times for anyone who's just listening and thinks, oh, Christ, this guy's sort of selling his like wedding day out. But like, my patrons have helped me like more than, you know, they really know, and they have like, you know, helped me so much. And I've always wanted to try and like do something regarding the wedding. Now, I'm not sure if anything necessarily is going to happen on the day. I still need to kind of like speak to Miss Create really and just be like, you know, what do we think we want to do here? Because she's up for it as well, as in like she understands, you know, she understands it. And we've had this conversation loads of times, so apologies if you guys have heard it for, as in like us lot, you know, me and you in the chat. But we yeah, I'm just trying to work out what I want to do. Like, for sure, I'm definitely gonna, of course, when we get some like wedding photos back, like from the photographer, which will probably take a few weeks anyway, like I'm gonna share them on Patreon. I don't know obviously what our like wedding video is going to look like yet, but my sort of thought process is I might watch that with like patrons potentially. You know, I might do it on YouTube, I'm not sure, like on a live stream, but it would be on a live stream anyway. But whether or not like I did it live but just exclusive to patrons, I don't know. I don't know. We're still umming and ahhing about. Well, I tell her, like, I haven't really brought it back up for a little while because Mrs. Craig's been cracking on with all sorts of stuff, so I don't want to bog her down with too much. She's pretty much been the full orchestrator of the day. I just need to make sure I turn up. Do you know what I mean? That's it, really. So yeah, I don't know what we're fully doing yet. I will let you know quite soon because I want to make sure it's like penned in, like for people, because I remember like some people have already said to me like, please can you just, if you're gonna do anything, please let us know ASAP so that, you know, they can make sure that they are free for it. And that's a really lovely thing to hear. So I will do my best to grab that information for everyone. Let's just block this in area over here probably a bit more, make that really sun-kissed. I want to really brighten up the edges a bit more, kind of just show like a real big patch. You've got to be brave with like chucking in some highlight like this. Let me catch up with you guys. Lindsay says, yeah, I feel you, Joe. But even as someone who with more experience, it's nice to do an easier one now and again. Yeah, for sure. About talking about the tutorial. Lindsay says, I need to find some time to do the windmill. I love that tutorial. What's up, Kat? How's it going? Good to see you. Birthday was very, very good. Thank you. I appreciate you asking. Oh my God, my badge has changed colour. You got the bronze one now. Kat, you are just 2 months off of being a supporter on YouTube for 2 years and you'll get the first gold badge. You're just 2 months off, I think. I looked at it the other day. You'll live stream the wedding, ain't you? There was a point where I have to, you know, again, we'll come back to those details in a bit. Lynn says I just did a 2-hour tutorial, but it took me 2 days. Lots of fun, but after your pool one was lots of fun also. Yeah, I love that people are like getting a little bit more open-minded to like longer tutorials. It's so much more fun. Like I see Flo's got one on her channel, right, and it's like 2 hours and a bit, and like I would just in my initial sort of like early days of Procreate, I'd have been like, oh wow, 2-hour tutorial, like I don't think people are going to do that. But I don't know why, but I feel like people have just opened up. Like I've got long tutorials, I've got like hour 40, hour 50s, I think. There's definitely far more, you know, longer ones that I'm willing to do. You know, James put out that one, didn't he, the other week of like the graffiti alphabet one, and that was a long one as well. And I think it's great. I've said it lots and lots of times, but I think it is great because it pushes the boundaries of what people are willing to like do. And also there are people that just love to get tucked into like a longer tutorial and just sit through it over the weekend and really like get into something a little bit more detailed and intricate and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's cool. Bass followed by bright tone, followed by that tone. Got like this lovely sort of brighter tone I can put right on the back end up here. Like, let's do that again. Let's go over the top of sort of this one here. Got like areas where we can put some like little areas of snow, maybe little brighter spots, and leave like little dark, just little spots as well. Rob says it's bronze. What does that mean? Bronze is that you have been a supporter for over 6 months. 6 months is bronze, silver is a year, gold is 2 years. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Rob's on the old wedding situation. I'll probably put up like a Instagram story. I don't want it. I mean, you guys tell me. I don't want it to sound like it's like a, hey, I'm, come, watch my wedding video with me, exclusive to Patreon. Like, that's not what the flipping whole thing's about. And to be honest, I don't want people to come and join for that reason. Which actually, saying that out loud makes me think, hang on, that's probably not a good thing to do, because I don't want people joining and then leaving like a month later and like, that was the only reason that they were there, kind of thing. I don't want to unhinge my Patreon in any way. So maybe, yeah, lots to think about. Lots to think about. Maybe there's like a large bit of snow here and it like trickles up into there. It's like some occasional little brighter spots at the top. Nothing too much. The odd little area of this lovely lighter colour. Put some in behind this one as well. That's cool. That's very cool. We'll see how it goes on the adjustments in a bit. Lindsay says, was it your 21st, Joel? Was it my 21st? What was that? Sorry, Lindsay. What's up, Ryan? How's it going? Good to see you. Rob says, if the tutorial is 2 hours, it would definitely take me 3 days. Yeah, I appreciate like a lot of people with the stopping and starting and all that kind of stuff like that goes into it. Yeah, it can definitely like drag it out. But I think that's cool though. Like you've got like a full like project to be getting back. That's like a project more so than just like a singular design. That is really something to like sink your teeth into. Slowly just trying to build up these like brighter orangey tones on the top of this peak up here. We can block some in quite quickly there, like a big patch up here. I've got like real bright tones to add in later. Don't want to bring these too low, but just like the odd, let's not make that a line, let's just make that like a few little dashes in here. Got to be nice and random with it. Leatherwood could be quite cool here, just to add in like little areas. But I'm thinking like little vertical lines and stuff, like a little line that runs down here, just like a little ridge, just a little something, little deep bit of detail in there. It's coming together quite well actually. Was it my 21st birthday? No, it's my 30th. Okay, so that landscape looks, that landscape looks and colours remind me of the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I love like those types of warm tones, like rocks and stuff. They look great. That kind of canyon vibe. What's up, Jesse? How's it going? Thank you for dropping. I appreciate you. Good cat, all good. Rob says, yeah, I like doing long tutorials, but at the moment I'm doing really long courses. Don't have the time for tutorials, but maybe take a break on the weekend. It's all a balance and actually don't want to overdo it at the same time. You're so young, Joel. what I would do to be 30 again. That's from Jesse. Ooh. That's cool. Little bright spot on there on its own. No way, 30. Don't look a day over 29. I tell you what, you're cruising for a little ban, you are. Just a little one, little vacation. Rob says, Milo, did I say hi? Oh, right. Okay, cool. We are looking good there. I think I kind of want to just go to like this layer here maybe and just grab the eraser. Hey, what was I going to say about a Procreate's event in September? Have we spoken since then about that? I don't think we have. So Procreate have got an event in September. I was literally on the website and going to buy my ticket. I was about to book a hotel. I was like, that is sick. I'd love to be there, you know, real good for the channel, maybe make a short little video out of it, you know, just great content, real, yeah, an opportunity to maybe, you know, speak to someone at Procreate in person, and in the sense that it's them in London, in the UK for a change. And then I realized I will be on my honeymoon. So I ran upstairs. I said, we ain't going. It's tough. We're not going. I've got to be in London. She said, she slapped me around the face. She said, absolutely not. She said, absolutely not. So, yeah, I can only apologize. But I was gutted. Like, I was gutted in the fact that I couldn't go, obviously, just for a fairly all right reason. But like, that would have been so cool. Just like go to a Procreate event. Like, yeah, got to try and take those opportunities if I can. Okay, I want to kind of like create a layer here that is the base color, which was this color, I believe. It sits above all of them and kind of acts like a mask, where we just grab like the soft airbrush and kind of do that little blend out, just fade out the details at the bottom. So it's just visible at the top. Rob says, Joel, did you see they are bringing out the iPad Ultra 16-inch? I mean, I see rumors and stuff all the time, but until something's concrete. If they bring out a 16-inch iPad, I promise you I'm on that straight away. I'm on it straight away. Like, I've got the 11-inch, and I love it. I don't have the thing is with the iPads is I don't have. Once you buy a Pro model, you're good. You're good for a long time. And mine's like the 2018 iPad Pro. I have nothing wrong with that at all. For me, it'd just be like, with what I do here all the time, to have a big iPad to draw on would just be so sick. So yeah, I would definitely debate it if it does come about. But I'm not sure if they will go that big. 16 is quite a jump from the other one. Like, I know that there is obviously there's the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra that was released yesterday. Well, not released, announced yesterday, and that's a beastly tablet. That's huge, but that's like a 13-inch screen. So I think 16 is quite a leap, when like traditionally Apple like wait and let Samsung do a lot of the market research basically first. I wanted this to have a really bright look to it, and I don't know if I want to jump to like ads straight away. Like, I do want that kind of look though, where it is quite vibrant. let's see if we can go ahead and maybe just lower that down just a little bit and carry on with this warmer tone of the highlights, and then maybe get in there with yellows afterwards. But I want like the tips, so if the lighting's coming through from here, I can pretty much scatter some light like on a line basically all the way across this space here, with like a couple of exceptions, but like up here, up there, just kissing the top, and then round the back here, just like a little bit on there, tiny bit on there too, and maybe just a tiny bit just here, just on that top area, definitely over here as well. Let that light in just sort of kiss on the top there, making it nice and bright. Just where you can just imagine that like the sun's just peeking over something on the right hand side, you know, just a tiny little bit. Where are you going to go on your honeymoon, Joel? I am off to Canada for my honeymoon. Irish Miner says these mountains look like the one on my property in Idaho. Well, that's the big flex. That's a huge flex. I would love a view like that all the time. Milo says, I'll be watching the Procreate event. Maybe we can chat about it live on Discord. Yeah, I might do. Well, actually, I'm away. I can't do that. I'm just going to have to watch it on my phone or something and then just catch up. Maybe make content about it when I'm back. That way I can let a few things maybe settle down and see if it's even worthwhile, you know. Lynn says, I'll go on your behalf, Joel. Film for the channel and everything. We'll wear the merch. Which, by the way, brand new hoodie is in the store. If you want to grab it. The simple negative space J. Very comfy hoodie. Very comfy. If I could get to that event, I so would pick up a hoodie from Lindsay. Lynn says, oh, maybe the Ultra will be on the September launch? Maybe. Well, not at, it won't be at the Procreate event. You mean as in like separate events? Maya says, I'll be buying a big iPad. I'm in love with my 12.9, but 16 inches would be insane. I will have double the fun for you, Jesse. Rob says those mountains are insane, Joe. I appreciate it. Lindsay says love it. Always need another hoodie. I want the hoodie too, but one day hopefully. And watch out for them Canadian drivers. They are scary. Really? Okay, that's terrifying. I'm renting a car. That'll be fun. Lindsay says yeah, I'm in the Apple event. Yeah. The thing is, like, the iPads are so overpowered. Like, they're outrageously overpowered. You like, unless like you would never need to upgrade for more power. Let's put it that way. Like, no chance. So you are just upgrading for like whatever features they bring out, and like, you know, the preference of the larger screen. Okay, let's go to add, but I'm not sure add's the right color to go to because we've got these like bright yellows that I want to introduce, like this brighter yellowy look just like up here. I really want it to have like a yellowy aesthetic to it, but I don't want it to be too overdone, like overexposed. Which that's getting very close to. I think like the other one, I might need to like bring that down to like 28, and then this one can maybe bring down as well, and we can build up like yellowy like glows rather than just white looking ones. Well, maybe we'll think about watching like Apple events together or something, or do something like that in the future maybe, because it is quite important to the space that we like occupy here on the internet, isn't it? Like, you know, if they like bring out a new iPad and stuff, it's very important to a lot of the people in this space. I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy. Let's move on for a second. Let's go to the layer just in front, which is technically another sort of set of mountains, but they're like quite muted in comparison. So it's this area here, and we can start with this tone here. We'll keep these ones a little bit more simple, maybe. Here, I'm starting to get a bit hot now. A 16-inch iPad would be sick. Like my, you know, like when you see Bob Ross when he has like his canvas on an easel, like he stood upright, turns his back to camera and just cracks on. Imagine if like you could see my tutorials like over my shoulder, painting on like not even a 16, but even bigger than that, like a 30, like a 28-inch. That's about 28. I'm thinking maybe 32-inch style screen, like that runs iPad OS, and like I could just draw on it like it was a proper canvas. I mean, it cost me about 120 grand probably, but do you know what I mean? How sick would that be for the content? Like I would 100% take it down that route, like do something a bit different, you know, have like that kind of like it replicating his kind of studio kind of layout would be so cool. Just a little bit different to like everybody else's, like the top down shots, you know. All in on that. That'd be sick. It's fine for a minute. We'll grab the eraser version of this. Just kind of break up these little shapes. Just quite harsh little lines here and there, like little just divots and stuff. That's fine. I think we can just grab like the soft airbrush and maybe just like blend them out at the bottom, and then that kind of would suffice in there, just like leaving them a little bit kind of more muted like that. I think that looks quite nice. This that extra set, and then on these ones here we're going to add some like trees and stuff to them. Okay, that's a little note for self, really. Irish Money says the Canadian drivers are fine, it's just the crazy American ones that come over for the border. Says I love it. I would love to have gotten a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte. Why do you need that much storage? I suppose you do. I've seen the work you do. That's a lot of storage. I've got a 256 and I've got over 1,000 canvases, and I ain't anywhere near my storage. The thing is, like, if Procreate ever goes into AR, I just don't know how, like, it's not accessible. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not accessible for the majority of people. What you're gonna buy? You're gonna buy a VR headset for $3 and then want to draw. Like, I'm not buying a headset for $3 and making tutorials on that. No, I mean, probably would, but you know what I mean. Like, there's not that big of a market for it. I've seen people like do graffiti in AR, and that looks very, very cool. Like, best believe I'm writing that off as little tax business, a little bit for the business. I'm not sure if it's going to be. Someone said online, they said because it's at this location called Motion or something, that potentially that hints towards the fact that they're gonna, in the next update, like have a lot to do with like animation and stuff, which is cool. And like I can see myself utilizing that. How much, I'm not sure. Because I don't want to just like take on like new features, like, you know, when they came out with like 3D and stuff. I don't want to take on new features just because they're new. Like I want them to benefit me, like not as Joel Create, but as like, you know, someone who just still wants to learn to continue to draw and get better at drawing and stuff. So I think I said this on Facebook and Threads, but like their new update, as much as it makes me excited, it makes me really nervous at the same time, because we like, and you could say the same for like all of the creators in this space. Like I keep saying like, it's because I'm trying to work out what I'm going to say. I apologize. We're trying to work out, you know, is it going to affect what we do? I say we, like I think that, like, you know, at the end of the day, they're always probably going to keep it as a drawing app. Like you're still going to always be able to draw on it, but I just hope it doesn't take it in like a different direction. I got a question for you. If Procreate turned around and said, we're moving to a subscription model, would you pay it? Because that, hang on, let me catch up with the chat before I carry on with that. Kevin says, I don't think a 16-inch would work for me. I'm happy with my iPad Pro I have now. I would just have a setup where that size that iPad just lives, and it never moves. Fair. Grumpy old hermit says, the trouble with a bigger screen is that all the flaws in my work would show up more. Likewise. Kevin says, I just do too many other things on my iPad and need it to be at least semi-mobile. Yeah, that is the best thing. Like I take my iPad to bed and, like, you know, watch YouTube on it on the bedside table and stuff, and fall asleep to that. And like a 16-inch is just like you're carrying around a small monitor with you at that point. Right. But for work purposes, I would leave it in my Sketchboard Pro, like, and just leave it in here and use that as a, you know, just for drawing really. But like, are you getting the most out of it at that point? Like, you know, it's an interesting question. Rob says, can I share my news? You can go for it. Lindsay says, I love how you went from no chance to actually I would. Me neither. I'm blind in one eye. I would. Yeah, 3D feature was not cool at all. No, I'm talking like, well, let's say they do the subscription as like a yearly or a monthly. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, they just bring in the fact that it's not a one-off purchase. It's, yeah, you are going to get charged a few times. Let's put it that way. I think we can just cheat a little bit here and just grab like the freehand option. Grab that, copy paste it, move it down here. Just like to there's fine. We can get in there then and kind of just block in a few of these. Obviously, I know it's dependent on the price, but I know a few people that would just be like, nah, I'm done. I'm not paying monthly for it. Like, the amount of times that people just constantly message me like, can you put this tutorial on YouTube? And it's a Patreon one. I'm like, bro, I can't do that. Like, and like that to me says like, you know, the limit of the price that Procreate is at the minute is the limit that a few people are actually willing to like spend, you know, like budget wise. You know, everybody has different budgets for sure. But do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? that they make Procreate more complicated. I hope it stays the same. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like an Adobe subscription. Yeah. Pay for it, you know. I love the app. Don't give them ideas. But that's like my fear is like if they make like the app a paid one, I think that kills it. Like not kills it completely, but what that does is that limits so many people from getting an iPad and going, I've got an Apple Pencil that I use for like this, that, and the other. I'll give Procreate a go, and like exploring that world. It's not as easy to walk into. It's like, you know, you are committing. Like I think it, you know, that's what that again. It just scares me a little bit. Like what they're gonna do, how they'll go about executing certain things. What they, you know, I think they're well in their right to say, you know, we have to now move to a subscription. You know, they need. For them to continue to always develop, it's like what Adobe did. You know, as soon as Adobe moved to subscription, they can afford to, you know, develop more because they've got a continuous stream of revenue and you've got developers to pay for and stuff. Like I really understand that world because obviously it's what I work in, but like yeah, it just freaks me out a little bit. Freaks me out big time. Like I just don't want it to. I don't want them to make a change that's like really quite catastrophic to things. And for selfish reasons, you know, I love what I have here and that we've done, so I don't really want that to change. Let's move that down to like there, and then just leave that, but erase that off at the end there. There's quite a few trees that make their way down that hillside. Maybe we could make them a little bit bigger. I want that to be like a silhouette though at the front. Rob says my husband bought me a Mac Studio 30-core GPU. It's called. I called it Mr. Mac Beast. That's a weapon. That is a beast. Those Mac Studios, they were sick. What chip is it? Which version of the chip is it? It says it would make it less accessible for sure, and then would makes you wonder how that would impact on creators. Oh, big time. I think it narrows the space down a lot. It narrows it down way more. Like, if they had gone to a subscription before, I don't think it would have got as big as it is. I just feel like if you make it a one-time purchase, people can just jump in. It would affect Patreon for lots of people, I think. Because already, let's say they're paying, let's hypothetically say it's something like £10 a month. So it's like $10 a month. Let's just call it $9 or $10 a month. I think that would put people off. That's pretty steep, to be fair. Like I would probably imagine that they'd go maybe $3 a month, let's say. But like, I think that's like, if they went $3, that's pretty much my entry tier on Patreon, and like people would have to make a decision if they don't want to spend, you know, $6 a month just for Procreate stuff. You know, I think it can easily affect quite a lot of people. That's the thing, that Adobe got so expensive, and like if you go to a subscription now and it's $3 this year, you can guarantee in like 3 years it goes up again, and then in 3 years it goes up again, and you know, and again and again. Before you know it, you're paying like $12 or something. The thing is though, like you say about making it available on other platforms, they've said before that they weren't focusing on it. You know, whether that was to throw people off the scent, who knows? But the problem is, and I know that from experience with the Joel Designs channel, is you just end up with, and from my work, like my actual day job, is you just end up with so much like fragmentation and stuff in terms of like issues with so many different devices and different screen sizes, and on my phone it does this, and on my phone, you know, I get an error here, or I get an error on my tablet. You know, with my Joel Designs channel, I'm like tech support, because Infinite Paint is available on iPads and on your phone and on Android in every sense. So like it's hard work. It's hard work. And stability wise as well, I think it like makes it really hard. Where are we at? We're only in, how is this? This isn't only taking an hour. That's really interesting. I thought it was taking much longer. But like, it's the same in my actual job, like app development, of like, we get people like, oh, you know, it looks, you know, things look different on my phone, or, you know, my customer who's having an issue, like, and then you've got to be like, okay, well, what phone are they on? What platform are they on? Okay, cool. What phone are they on? What version of Android are they on? What version of iOS are they on? You know, all these questions and like all these problems that you end up running into by just opening yourself up. And like, stability's always been their main focal point, like making sure the apps just butter at all. That's why you don't get as many layers in Procreate as you do in other apps, because they have limitations in place for stability. Like in other apps, you can get more layers for the same canvas size. You know, whether or not that app's doing some magic at the same time, you know, who knows? But you know what I mean. Like there's lots that they're trying to do to keep your experience the best it can be. It really freaks me out, honestly, the event, but I'm sure it won't be anything awful. I'm sure it'll only be good news. You hope, you know. Lindsay says it's also the thing of affording it every single month, and then people will have to choose what this. And that's the thing as well. Like if you buy Procreate and you put it down for the summer and you come back to it, you know, that's fine. You only bought it once. But then if you're like, you've got like a total of like $15 or something going out for all your patrons, etc., and everything like that, I think it's just an easier thing. And Procreate as well, I think it's just an easier thing to be like, I'm going to turn this all off for the summer, not just like support patrons all the way through kind of thing. I know you could turn off Procreate technically and then come back to it, but when you got a resub and just the mental mindset of being like, oh, I need to pay right now, oh, I don't want to do that. I'll pick it up again next month or something. Grumpy Old Met says, I think if they did go to subscription, it would be because they already have enough people who've purchased it. You know, yeah, it makes sense. It would make sense for sure. Guys, if you're watching, if you can drop a like on the video, our record before has been 52 likes, I believe it was 52. We're at 15 at the minute and almost an hour in. So if you guys can drop a like on the video, if you're hanging out with me, I'll greatly appreciate it. Let's see if we can get close. See if we can get close. See if we can get that number up a bit. Sorry, I know I've been doing this area quite a bit for a minute or two, but we've been talking quite heavily about Procreate. I've, to be honest, made all these trees like far too small. I want to really lengthen all of these out, get a much larger forest here, because then I can do these kind of like smaller trees on that level over there. So I'm thinking maybe if I like duplicate that, for example, flip it, move it, scale it down. I will just redo it in a minute. That's fine. Let's make some of these trees a bit taller. I want a much bigger forest. If you're interested what brush I'm using the Little Pine brush. And also, if you're hanging out and you're just lurking, you can come and join in with the chat. Nobody's going to bite you, I promise. You want to come and join in with the chat, get involved with everybody. Grumpy also says, and it would still, and we still would not know how to draw without creators such as yourself. I appreciate it. Yeah, it would definitely change things for sure. That what's crazy is there is alternatives, you know, like I have my second channel, I have like a backup or worst case, you know, for all of this stuff, which is cool. Which lately I'm so on top of my content here on the Joel Create channel that I have debated just making an odd little video here and there for the Joel Designs channel. If you didn't already know, I had to like stop it because it was just like exhausting how much work I had to do, like creating 3 videos a week during a 5-day week. You know, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've got editing and everything else that goes into it, content, the actual design creation part of it, it was quite extensively draining me. But I think I'm gonna like put up a post on that channel soon of being like, listen, I'm not going to abandon you fully, but you will not get tutorials weekly anymore. You're gonna get tutorials. Don't forget, this is on the Joel Designs channel, not Joel Create. But yeah, you're gonna get tutorials as and when I can. It's as simple as that. It is a second channel. It should not take priority. It should not take away from what it is I do here. And yeah, sadly it'll go like that, but it's great to have that like little backup. Channel's still doing well as well. That's what's interesting. It's like still gaining views, it's still gaining subscribers and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. For something that I knew had possibilities of growing, but it's like just yeah, it's just cool to see that I was correct in a way. Here, I'm just going to kind of like just dance my pen up and down here. It needs to be in a bit of a vertical fashion though, just to try and create like a bit of a forest line, a little bit like this, and then just create little dashes. I don't want to put like proper trees in here. I want to show how much like there's a distance change between them. Yeah, just a little something like that looks pretty cool. Let me just catch up with you guys. Grumpy, so my second channel called Joel Designs, it's just the same kind of content. Well, I mean, it is the same content as I already do on my Procreate channel, but its sole purpose is to create tutorials for people that are not just on iPad, they are for people across platform. So it's people that are like on Android and on iOS. So you can use Infinite Painter on either app, either platform, and yeah, it just opens it up to more people. And yeah, it's been a success. Like, I'm happy with how the growth has been. It's literally soon to hit 5k, and I've not even really done anything for the last like 12 weeks, probably even longer. I didn't realize quite how much it was going to kind of drain me and take it out of me, but I think I'm quite on it at the minute, and like in an ease way that I could maybe, you know, I could easily just occasionally just make a tutorial or 2 for that channel, and just, you know, it's got to be what it's got to be. Maybe one day, should I ever go like full time with this kind of thing, that they would ramp up again, you know. The thing is as well, like they've recently brought out this app which is called High Paint, and I like this app a lot. Not more than Procreate, other than things like this, you know, ads, which is annoying. But it works pretty much the same as Procreate. Like, we've got the same sliders, size of brush, we've got all these tools. Essentially, you've got smudge, brush, and eraser at the top, your layers as well. It aesthetically looks pretty good to Procreate. We've got some cool brushes in here. You can do a lot of the similar things, and this, I think, might end up being my second channel, like app kind of thing, rather than Infinite Painter. It seems to be a little bit more stable, so I'm probably going to put up like a video about this soon. But this is my new favorite for cross-platform. It's called High Paint. Just search Joel Designs, Robs, on YouTube. There's 20 tutorials at the minute, I believe. I think we got up to 20. Should we have a look? YouTube. I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. Joel Designs, nearly gonna hit 5k. We got up to 18 tutorials, so yeah. Sadly, I've not uploaded anything for a while. Thank you, Milo. I appreciate you dropping it. Yeah, it's 20%. 20% is not looking good. Right. What I also wanted to do is, if we create a new layer here, clipping mask that in, we change this to like add. Go back to the soft airbrush a second. I wanted to kind of like give this a soft look to it, like kind of like, I don't want it to be again too bright, and I don't want to be too focused on it. I just want to blanket it over the top, but kind of give it that little bit of a push, like a little bit of a smudge almost to the left. No, we'll leave that a little bit lighter, darker even. And that one's good. Let's just triple check what that looks like before and after. Yeah, no, that's fine. Gives me that soft look. I think in the background we can maybe get away with like this layer here. What if we duplicate it and change? That gives you a lot more pink. I don't think it needs it. I'm wondering whether or not we put some clouds in the sky, but I don't think we need that either. I really like this. I think it's really quite beautiful, but quite simple at the same time. We've really only got one thing to focus on. We leave this area here at the front. I mean, you could even do that like same effect that I love to do of like blurring the front layer. So we'll blur that out. You can blur that to like 6% maybe. You could maybe blur the one in the middle a little bit less, like 3%, and that then focuses you through the forest. I think I want to though try a different approach to this area here. I don't know if I want this land to be quite so high, and if I do, I want it, but I still want it to maybe be about here, and then let those trees get even taller again. So I think I'm gonna grab that color for a second. I'll probably just duplicate the layer actually. Actually, let's undo that. Let's unmerge those layers together. We'll duplicate that. Group them. And then this layer here. This is where we're just trying to work out the best combination of how this could look. You know, like if we were to like do some sort of high banking on the right, get rid of all of this, and you get to see all that rubbish all the way through that gap there. But if we were to make some really large trees here, I think they would look really cool. I think we can maybe get the rad brush involved here. So like those trees need to probably be like this kind of height. I always draw in little straight lines, just trying to, they're like the center points of the tree, the trunks of the tree. And then as they go over here, we can let them just fall off a little bit. You can then start to work out maybe where you want to bunch some more together. There, I definitely want to bunch some in. And then maybe we have like a good one here, like that. Let's try that. Let's see how that goes. I'm wondering whether or not the rad brush is the one. I'm going to give them all a general coat quickly. And then we'll go back over them, and I just want to triple check that I feel like they're in the right places. Natalie, if you are watching, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Thank you, Robs. I love a tranquil kind of mountain foresty design, don't I? That's why I'm looking forward to going to Canada so much. Like, it's like the real thing for me. I've got to really block this out over here because there's a lot of undone mountain space. That's fine. I think that has a better look to it. Thank you, I appreciate you, Stacey, and anybody else who goes and subscribes to the other channel. I really appreciate it. It helps it get a little bit higher. Grumpy says, new question. How do you decide what colours to use? That is a fantastic question, and you shouldn't really worry about your colours. But what I mean is, to start a design, you should always consider a few things. It's a good question, and I'm trying to think of the best way to answer it. Typically, there's only a few things you should ever really think about, and that's like grayscale. So like, let's go ahead and just turn this off for a minute. If we were to just pick like an off gray, let's just create a few more layers. You should always try and do maybe your design in like black and white to start with. So like you get progressively darker. So let's just say like, I don't know, there's a mountain over here, whatever. Let's just keep it real simple. And then as you get progressively closer, you should then pick out another slightly darker color. So if you do things in black and white to start with, and then here, and this just takes a little bit of practice because you won't need to do this step, but to start with, it's a really handy step to do. If you do your design a little something like this, that one's probably a little bit too dark. You want that progression of grays, and then we do the color that it was just then. Maybe this one just wraps up over here. Things should always typically be a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated as it gets closer to you, and then as things get further away, they should tend to get a little bit lighter and start to get very close to your sky. Because your sky is like typically, of course, blue, but it will just reflect that down onto like further things in your environment, and will start to make things in the distance of everything. If you look at like anything, an open bit of land near you, things in the distance will tend to have like a light blue hue to them, and it just means that that's just the lighting around it is just like diffusing it, and kind of like, I don't think diffusing is the right word, it dilutes it in a way. But then picking colors is like it's about experimentation, and to be honest, it's also about references as well. Like, find a reference that you like the look to. This palette here has been taken from a reference that I found of a photograph of some mountains, and then I've changed the scene now accordingly to what I want to do. So you can always go to a photograph, take the colors from there. Yes, Procreate has that funky that funky kind of feature where you can drag a photograph in and take the colors. It'll create a palette from it. I wouldn't ever do it myself. I don't like the colors it picks, but reference photos typically is a really good thing to start with. If you want really cool colors and palettes, you can go to the Coolers app. This one here, Coolers. In here, you can find palettes. If you bring out the menu on the right and you go to explore, you can find palettes here of different categories. So you can find something that you maybe like the look of, such as like a monochromatic, maybe. That's just a singular color in different shades. You can go for a vintage, which is typically going to have like these ones have got like a bit of a, I wouldn't say they're necessarily vintage. I would say you get better vintage palettes than that in here, or if they got it down as like a different, you can go trending, you can go latest, you can go popular, but grab this app. It's called Coolers, and it's awesome. Grab that. It was Hermit we were talking about. Great app. This is what I would say is a bit of a better vintage palette, and this one here arguably as well. It's just got those beautiful shades. They're not too bright and punchy, but you can grab something from here. Maybe you're doing a forest design, just grab these colors here and then just tweak them. To be honest with you, colors is something that you can only start to understand a little bit more and easier the more you draw. I know that's like, I apologize that is the most boring answer I could have given you, but the more you draw, the more you'll go, well, hang on, these trees here now, let me just maybe experiment with like what if I dash on a little bit of that orange, or maybe even like a a green maybe in here, you know, just like the more you draw, the more scenarios that you draw in different, you know, maybe landscapes, if that's your thing, the more chance you'll have to then, you know, use more colors. But to get a basic palette, reference photos, use something like Coolers. You can literally build a design based off of a Coolers palette. That's a great app. And then as you go, just one thing I do quite typically is I'll go up to my adjustments, hue saturation, and then maybe like here, maybe I just want to make that a little bit darker, you know, so it's now like a black silhouette. You know, that doesn't look wrong necessarily, but I'm just tweaking the brightness. Or maybe I'll undo that and maybe I'll go to my hue saturation slider here, or hue slider. Maybe I'll bring this a little bit more closer towards the greens, or let's bring it the other way. Let's go into more of the purple tones, or we can go into like bright, like orangey tones. I can't show you a design. Also depends on, just have a think about what it is you're about to do. Like I've got this like sunrise kind of scene here, so to me, like these ones obviously being in the shadows, you know, I've adjusted these based off of that reference photo, but like the colors were not quite right, and you always just want to make little tweaks here and there and think about, well, if it's a sunrise, you know, maybe we do have like a bit more of a blue color. If it was in the night, you maybe want to move into like your grays and stuff. If it's during the day, down here wouldn't be navy like here, maybe it was going to be more of a green. And obviously if it's during the day as well, you then need to think about, well, I need to actually paint those trees in because they're visible. They're not silhouettes at this point. They're actually, you know, visible to the eye. What's in the light, what's not in the light kind of thing. There's a lot to be sort of considered with colors, and I think it's actually quite a confusing thing to learn anyway. Like I've watched videos on YouTube all the time I always watch videos to try and just learn. You might watch a video that's an hour long, but you'll pick up maybe 2 things in that video and go, ah yeah, I need to start doing that. So what I was saying is darker closer to you, lighter further away. I know we've got like these bright tones on here because that's the main focal point, of course, Kat, I appreciate you dropping in and out. I know it's been a bit of a struggle with you today with work and stuff, so I appreciate you dropping in and enjoy the rest of your day. Say hello to the kids as well for me, please. Lynn says, can I go camping here? That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Stacey says, I just found you and love your drawing and style of tutorials. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the comment. Sometimes you can like appreciate like these tutors comment their work, but when you get a comment, it just like makes the person on the other end, like, you know, just gives you that little bit of is it dopamine, a little bit of love as well, just to be like, yeah, I'm still doing pretty good at this, I'm doing all right. So I appreciate the comment. Thank you. Alessandra says, that looks beautiful, you're an incredible artist. Well, I appreciate it, but yeah, we can all get there, and still things I need to adjust and change in this for sure. That's probably got a little bit too bright up there, but we'll tweak it later. But I appreciate the love. Thank you. Coolers is the app. Thank you so much. That was super helpful. I hope it was helpful. I apologize, but there's simple things you can do. Again, sorry I got off course there. Darker closer to you, lighter things further away. Then you always need to think about your lighting. What type of lighting is it? Is it just a light like I've got all the way around me, where it's just a white light, or is it like something like the sun? Is it a moon? Is it, I don't know, is it like a really warm burning sun? You know, something like that. Where's your light source? What color is your light source? Because if that was you know, I've got navy here, I could technically add like another color here of the light source, like the orange, because that's the orange that's coming across, and maybe it like dances on the edge of some of these trees, you know, just catches on some of the tips of some of these trees. So now I'm going to reuse the orange in here because that's the light source color. Like in my palettes, I typically always break everything down into sections, and your highlight light source color is always one that I will keep a good eye on to remember where it is to apply it in different areas of the design. There's so much there to take in with digital design. The more you can practice. and I say this all the time, not just because I want you to watch my videos, of course, you know, that'd be grand if you do, but every tutorial that I ever used to watch before I started doing it myself, you'd watch something and go, you pick up just something here and there, and just, I try to explain what I do in my videos, you know, like I try to explain like why I'm doing certain things majority of the time, and you know, what I'm trying to achieve with it. And I like that because I think it just explains to you like what the goal is at this particular part of the tutorial, and then we can then collectively like work towards it. But you will pick up lots of stuff with lots of people's different tutorials, for sure. But just type, if you search on YouTube like digital art colors, or Angry Miko put up a video recently talking about colors as well, so that's one thing you could watch. But there's lots of videos on there. Just don't get like too lost in it all. It all takes practice, to be honest with you. Practice of just constantly doing it and then seeing what you can tweak next time. I've drawn mountains a billion, I feel like I've drawn a billion times now, but I'll show you in a second. Like some of the older mountains and stuff don't look like they are now, and it's just simply just making way through, understanding now how I can apply lighting in certain ways and stuff, and just see, you know, how it comes about. Yeah, lots of practice, which is like the most frustrating bit of feedback to give you. I apologize, but I know how much I've learned in like 2.5 years of doing this, so yeah, you know. Booster Man says, I just found this channel and started using Infinite Painter, and I'm having lots of fun. Just want to say thank you for the content. You're very welcome, my friend. Are you subscribed to the Joel Designs channel, which is based on Infinite Painter? Joel Designs is the link. Joel Designs, and they are Infinite Painter tutorials by myself. Maybe more will come in the future, but yeah, make sure you subscribe to that channel. DJ Swolf says, I'm far from an artist, as up until recently my art has been stickmen. However, your tutorials have been super helpful, and the tools and techniques in Procreate has amazed me. Well, I appreciate the love, and it's a pleasure to be part of your Procreate journey. I appreciate it. Your pace is also spot on. Others I've had to slow down or pause a lot. I do try. It's a very like tricky thing to try and master, because you're trying to talk to someone who's not in front of you, and you're trying to talk to a lot of different people, a lot of different skill sets, and a lot of different paces. So if you ever feel like I go too fast, there's a video on my channel on how you can slow my videos down, and literally I will just end up a little bit like this, and you can watch me and I'll be slower. But it does help a lot of people. What's up, Tracy? Appreciate the comment. Thank you very much. So one thing I definitely did there, which I really enjoyed, was changing the scale of these. These ones look so much better at this sort of scale. I'm not quite happy though with the brighter spots on here. Like that looks fine right now, and I'm just debating whether or not I jump straight to the bright tone with an add and go from there. Again, I want to think about how it's coming across. If it's touching the top of this peak here, I want it, which I do, I want it to be quite bright over there. It's going to come across just about here, like as a line. It's just about going to fall as low as that, so I can get in there, brighten up a few extra spots along the top here. That looks a lot nicer because it's got a little bit of detail in it, so maybe not jumping between colors is the key. And I can add some detail to the top of here, not just making sure it's just a big blob. I can add in some much needed sort of bright areas. But let's try and keep that a little bit so it blends out towards the bottom, so we can just push that down, smudge that down almost. I think that should probably come down a little bit. About 80%. Let's brighten up the edge of this mountain as well in the distance, this little peak. Literally just the top edge of it. That's cool. Maybe the tiniest bit on here too, and a little bit on there as well. That looks a lot better. Got a little bit more detail in there this time. Maybe we can just punch out the real edge shapes. Guys, by the way, if you're new here or you've seen the merch before, there is a brand new hoodie that is linked in the description down below. If you want to go ahead and grab yourself the negative space paint Joel Create logo, just a real clean, simple hoodie. There you go. There's your modeling shots. The link's in the description down below if you want to grab yourself one of the Joel Create new hoodies. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate it. Appreciate you hanging out still. Do I want to add clouds to this? Probably not. I think we're good. Oh, I just realised we lost the trees on the left-hand side. Let's go back in with the rad brush. I liked having like a 1 or 2 just over here. Add in a couple more in here. That looks better. I'm wondering whether or not we go real old school and we put in like a deer here or something. But I feel like that might be too much. A little bit too much. Bit of sun and a flare to the right. The thing is with something like this is the light source is out of the frame. So you don't want to add a flare. You only want to add a flare necessarily when there is a bright spot that you can see. Here, there's not really any space for it, to be honest with you. I think the background does have a space though for picking a slightly lighter blue. And then let's just fill in this space here. And then just gauge and blur that out just so that the right side is a little bit lighter. That's a real subtle change, but I like that a lot. Let's put that there. Background, sky. Right, man. That's that set, which I went from that to just to that. I'll probably get rid of those. That's all our bright tones, but we don't really necessarily need all of those. Cool. Grandkids need attention, gotta bounce. Thank you, Joel, for your hard work. It's very appreciated. Grumpy, I appreciate you dropping into the chat, my friend. Good to see you, and love to see you again. We do these every Wednesday, pretty much every Wednesday. Well, I'm not just taking some time off, so I appreciate you dropping in. And if you want to hang out every Wednesday, you can do it, or you can come and hang out with us over on Discord. Links in the description down below. It's completely free. You can come and join in with the community, share your posts with other like-minded individuals. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I will change on this particular design. This one here to me seems done. And we did it actually in a very good time. Considering I'm an hour 30 in and we ranted about other things, I think there's a good possibility that we could make this into a tutorial. DJ also says the negative space brings the eye in for sure. Rob says, gotta be off as usual. It's been amazing hanging out with you. Joel, that piece is stunning. Catch you all on Discord and next week. Rob, I appreciate you dropping in as always. Great to see you, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for dropping in. I like this. I think, should we see what the old school vibe when I used to add like a deer in here? Just see what it looks like. I don't even know if they're still here anymore. Oh god, we've got to find them now. Dear. Let's just see if there's like... What if we grab like this one? That's not the same colour. What if we grab this one and we flipped it horizontally? Maybe scaled it down in size, because now it looks like it's taller than the trees. Yeah, position that there. It's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's almost like if you were to do it, it needs to be like hypothetically. Let's just say there was a gap here. You have to grab the deer. You could like move it into this space, like up here. So it's like right in front, and then make the trees scalable to that. I know I've just smashed straight through that, but you know what I mean. Just messing around with the different layouts of it potentially. The deer's cool though. I always like a deer stamp. I think that's one of my, if not my most favorite used stamp set, just simply because it just adds like a subject to your design, whereas before it's like not got a subject. And I don't think it necessarily is wrong to go there, but it's just lost a little bit, you know. Maybe we could add some like mist and atmosphere between the like hills. Maybe that would work. Maybe I could expose it that way a little bit, you know, like a really subtle little bit like that. And then I have to keep that going, so I need to go back a layer to like there, and then just introduce a little bit of something like there. Maybe that feels a little bit forced, but you know what I mean. I know, Milo, just experimenting. I think if we were to add the deer, I would actually add it up here. We could also go back to what is it, this layer here, and get in with organic. This is where I always get to, is like I'll then be happy with it, and I am very happy with it. It could be done, but now it's just a matter of just experimenting, just to see what can you get away with, what's an addition here and there that can be done. Can anything be done? A little bit of like hanging mist around the mountain. You know, it could even be quite a substantial thing. It could be quite, you know, like comes around the top of this one here, and you know, kind of leaves a bit of a gap, but really does just wrap around that. Like that's just poking out through. I kind of like that look to it. That does look quite nice. Let's just I keep saying hypothetically, but let's just see what that looks like, and then like lighten that up, introduce some more on there. That one's a bit too bright down there, but you know what I mean. I don't hate it, you know. I don't hate it at all. You like the mist? The problem for me is I feel like, okay, hang on, let's maybe, okay, right, okay, let's do this properly then, because we've got another 25 at least. So let's start that again. So we ditch the mist and we'll do it properly. Now, if we're going to do mist properly, we need to do it on the mountain too. So let's consider that color again. Let's go into airbrushing and the medium brush, and we want to maybe like think about, can we add in like a real low hanging area here of it? So like here, well that's the same layer, isn't it? What if we tap on this layer, we add a mask to it, and we make that mask that should help me now. Just can't see the mask. It's annoying. Okay, that might work. Okay, so now we should be able to just loosely, sadly, that's not on a separate layer, but we can just bring in, that looks a little bit too dark, but like a little bit of mist that's just going to run across here. making quite a straight line, and then let's maybe switch to that lighter tone. Don't want to make it too streaky. I do want to just maybe think about this. Whoa, what happened there? Like a little something like that. Got a little bit. Oh, I appreciate you, Stacey, joining the Discord. Have some fun in there. Make sure to introduce yourself as well if you fancy it, and you can share any works you like, whether it's a Joel Create tutorial, anyone. You know, you can always share your work over there. And then like we could even like do a little bit down here as well. I've put that mask in. I'll do it again. I should probably drop my opacity really and help myself out a little bit. Smudge that out a little bit more. A couple of extra little areas like that. That's okay for a minute. That one down there can be, let's just go over it with a soft airbrush and just fade it out a tiny bit. Happy for it to live there, but just like, yeah, just chill out. Okay. Let's then go in front of this set of mountains. Let's then go to our medium blend, which is just here. And I'm thinking we get in there and we, this is here. Just a little bit. Just in there. A little bit off to the left as well, which if we leave it exactly like that and we go in front of those, we can then bring it round the front of it like so, and just create like a bundle of mist, push that off, make sure it's nice and somewhat horizontal, like lots of low hanging kind of mist. Hi Stacey, I wrangle about 10 squirrels here in a... And then if you get rid of this line here, if you can be a little bit sort of build up in your process, you can really blend out that line and get rid of it completely. And it almost looks like it really has just been consumed by like this like low hanging mist. Let's undo those, let's go smaller than that. Can always get the smudge tool out in a minute as well and just bring that across there. Circular motion, let's just try and build up a little bit of shape here. It just changes the scene up quite a bit, doesn't it? I think there's more we can do there. We could definitely like soft airbrush it, for example, and just give it like a much more of a haze to it, you know, like do the hard work with the medium airbrush and then go to like layers like there and just kind of just blend that out a bit more. It's pretty cool. I don't hate it. It probably needs a little bit more work, to be honest with you. Like there, I'm not super set on that. break it down a little bit. Bring it back down. That just letting that just live a little bit higher. Do want to make sure it looks like it has some good elevation to it. So I'm happy for it to like dip into the valley here, but like there, it just needs to have that little bit of something. And I think I need another layer just here where we just add in a little bit of that lighter tone just around there. That was the only one without any. Could probably go soft airbrush for this, to be honest. Let's go to the smudge tool. Let's grab Salamence. Let's try that. Really like that. It looks very much like it's hanging, if it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Where are we? We're on this layer here. The problem is I just didn't want to make the tutorial too long. You know, I always think this every time, like, yeah, I want to kind of experiment and do this, that, and the other, but like every time you add something else, you're adding another 15 minutes, you know, you're adding a little bit here and a little bit there. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but when you look at the time that it takes for a tutorial, it plays a big factor on whether or not you even bother to do it. But that looks pretty good. It's just like that morning where everything's just burning off, isn't it? Just like, yeah. But what's really cool is, let's copy all of that. And then let's just quickly flick the camera around for just 2 seconds. Because I think it's always great to then scroll back and look when you did a similar kind of thing and look at the difference. I'm just trying to find one now. I mean, you could argue this one's like very similar in terms of its construction, but look at the difference between like this and then if we go ahead and swipe down with 3 fingers, we go to paste, you know, like, let's scale that up in size a little bit more and not drop it on its own there. If we look at the difference between, like, let's turn that off, you know, what I'm trying to get at is like, every time you do mountains or you draw something repetitively, you'll learn to do lots of different things. You know, this one's very simple, just like big blocks for the back. And I love it. I love its simplicity. But when you look at that compared to then where we are today, you know, the progression is there. And that's what you should always do. Just go back to something you've done in a similar style or similar theme and go back. Go back and triple check that you are, you know, see where you are progressing. What are you doing differently this time? You know, we've added this misting in a way that I've never done like this before, with that burning sun as well. And like, we're covering up a little bit of the mountain, but that's cool. It doesn't matter. It's like, you know, just seeing how you can really just continue to just evolve. That's what we're all trying to do, is we're just trying to get better. Every design, one through to the other. I know this one's got like a different vibe to it, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Let's just quickly bounce out of there. Actually, let's make sure we delete that layer. Let's go back. Where were we? We were here. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And it didn't take that long, really, the mist. That mist, by the way, Joel, you need to remind yourself, was those 2 colours there. Let's just take a screenshot of that. Let's put that colour in the top left. That can be our majority colour for that. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I think I'm done with it. There's always more you can do. What do we think? Do we think the deer now works or the deer doesn't work? I think the deer works now, you know. Like, it's optional. You wouldn't have to do it yourself if you didn't want to. But I feel like the deer now fits. I feel like it's got contrast enough now from the background that it's like just enough that it can just, it's there, you know. It's just a little extra summit. That's the thing as well. Like, I want you guys are on the same progression that I am. You know, all of those tutorials at the beginning of when I first started doing Procreate tutorials. You know, if you start there and make your way through to the one now, you could be further ahead than me. You know, like it, we're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to get better from first design, the last design to the next one, or you know, your last 10. Make sure that, you know, I was saying at the very beginning of the stream, I've got like a Trello board set up and stuff for all of the tutorials because I'm trying to make sure I'm planned ahead, you know, for while I'm away. But seeing the work I'm doing this year, and I've done this year, should I say, compared to last year, I'm so happy with the change in styles here and there, and just little things that I'm doing a little bit differently, and different just changes that I'm making really, and progression. So it's always good to just triple check, you know, go back, compare yourself to your last design. Don't compare yourself to others either, for Christ's sake. Don't do that. That's how you go insane, or you just never do anything. Tracy said, very cool. I was late, but I'm glad I caught this. Well, Tracy, I appreciate you dropping in. Doesn't matter when you drop in. You can always watch this back as well. You can always watch it back live, and you can also watch it back tomorrow as well if you want to. You can always whiz back, which is cool. Everybody thinks a deer now. Yeah, it is a little bit of a continuation. I like that. Critic in my head is very loud. What do you mean? What do you mean, Blue Bear? Of your own work, of my work, of other people's work? What do you mean? Talk to me. Jesse says, that's me. I can't do it because my OCD won't let me do one on my own, and it sucks. What do you mean? Sorry. Well, I can't remember what I've said, so I apologise for not keeping up with your chat. Jesse, what do you mean as well? Sorry. Let's get into a little bit more. Joel, you step up so much this year in a great way, and we're in this journey with you, Milo. I appreciate it. I really do. We're all moving forward together through tutorials, which is cool. But hopefully, I'm not making tutorials that like people look at and just go, "No, I'm not doing that." Like, oh, 10%. I can't do my own work on Procreate, but I mean, some people can't and some people can. And it depends on what you want to do as well. Like, you don't have to do your own work. Like, there's not a correct way and an incorrect way. If you just do tutorials and you enjoy it, it doesn't matter, as long as that's the main focal point. Is if you enjoy just doing tutorials, just do tutorials. Like, do what makes you happy. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything else, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. You get to complete a wonderful design by any of the tutors that are in the Procreate space, and you get to, you know, enjoy all the good parts of it. You don't have to sit and scramble to like make a design and like think of this and think of that. You know, you just crack on. Blue Bear says, critic of my work. I'm not usually happy with what I create, and I feel like I was better artist when I was in high school. So like, I think that all the time. Like, if you watch me on these live streams on a Wednesday, I get really frustrated with you guys watching, but in the what we call the ugly stage, because like you've got to trust the process, which I always say, which you can get merch for as well if you want to get a trust the process hoodie, you know, or you can get the brand new paint strip Joel Create one. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, you got to trust the process and just keep pushing through, and try not to also have an image in your head of like the people you're trying to emulate. Like, if you're trying to emulate something of someone else's work and that's all you can think about to then compare your work to, like, you're gonna go mad. Like, these people have maybe had like 15 years experience, or do it as a professional job day in, day out, all day, every day, or they went to university and did X, Y, and Z, or they've, you know, done, you know, don't compare yourself to other people. You're on a different journey. Like, we always have to just compare ourselves to ourselves. That's it. Compare yourself to a year ago, compare yourself to 2 years ago, compare yourself to 10 years ago if you can in your work. That's all I would say. And just see what you can progress with and what you feel comfortable with. Jesse says, I would love to do my own work, and everything I do, I look at and I say, it looks like, but my wife tells me different. Yeah, can't be too critical of yourself. Got to enjoy it. Got to enjoy it. Lindsay says, I always said that, Jesse, but I found a little niche. I wasn't just drawing 30-minute and now I am. I never say never. If you, the blue bear, the saying is, comparison is the thief of joy, and I cannot stress that enough in what we do in this Procreate space. If you compare yourself to other people, you just fall out of love with it. That phrase just goes for everything. If you compared your relationship to someone else's relationship, like you see on Instagram, you're gonna go nuts. Like, just, you know, are you happier than you were yesterday? That's good. If you're not, you know, it's different in different scenarios of life, but, you know, work in the Procreate space, we can obviously compare ourselves to the last design we did, but comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to people that have been doing this for a long time. And, like, you know, you can say that about me. You know, I could compare myself to being like, oh, well, you know, I wish my colors selection was as good as, I don't know, James, Julia, or Flo, or Tati, you know, someone like that, you know, or Rishi Draws, you know, any one of these people, but I don't. Or, like, you know, I wish I could have the views, you know, obviously I wish I had the views of, like, the larger creators. That's cool, but it doesn't matter. You know, we're all on different journeys. You know, when you look at their channels, like, in me, for example, in that exact scenario, I have to tell myself, mate, you've been doing this 2.5 years. Like, if we all started at the same time and we all hit, you know, the klaxon went and we all started rushing to YouTube and creating Procreate tutorials, who would be out in front? Like, you could be out in front. Any of us could be out in front if we all did, like, started at the same time. But they're like, channels are 6 years. They're 6 years ahead of me, all the time, and I'll never be able to change that. It's just as simple as this. As long as I'm doing better than I was last year, then that's fine. And as long as the content I'm happy with. That's the thing with me as well. Like, I'll make tutorials because I want to make those particular designs. I want to draw this because I want to draw this. I don't draw this because I think it's going to pop off and get 1 billion views. I draw because that's what I want to draw, and I bring you along for the journey, you know. Tracy says, I'm definitely further along thanks to Joel, I think you mean. That is it, Joel. I'm not even 2 years in, so I try to be easy on myself, for sure. Exactly. Jesse says, Lindsay, I believe me, I've tried. I don't know how to go about it. But you don't have to go about it if you don't want to, Jesse. You do whatever you enjoy. And we all, as artists, we have different styles. And that's another thing, yeah, different styles. That's a whole nother different conversation. That's a whole nother conversation that we won't get into. Oh, Blue Bear, I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you putting some love on the community as well. I love, I say this a lot, and I always mean it, but I don't know if people actually genuinely do think I mean it, but I love my community. I love everything about it. I love that you guys turn up here on a Wednesday. I know I say it all the time, but you guys turn up here on a Wednesday when I'm live. You come hang out with me. You know, you're in the Discord. You know, sometimes it's quieter, and that's just because life is just, you know, people are busy, people are doing whatever, but, you know, they hang around and they support each other. That's the beautiful thing. And we don't really necessarily stand for any rubbish, although we don't get any rubbish. We don't get any people being pains, you know. but that's where these live streams have come in, like super handy. Like I remember when I did that interview for the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, and you can listen to me if you want on that podcast. I think I'm episode 315, somewhere around there. So the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, and I talk about community. He says, like, you know, what's the most important thing? And he even said about, you know, you look like you've got a good community over there on the Joel Create channel, and it's just because you get to hang out with me rather than me say, do this, do that, do this. You're done. See you later. It's, you know, we get to hang out. You get to just chill out with the guy behind the camera. Super handsome man behind the camera, and just chill out. Maybe you get to know me and I get to know you guys on a more casual basis that's not get you from A to B. That's where these live streams have just been just so rewarding. Jesse, what's going on? What's going on? You're struggling all sorts with the Discord. Go to the share your work and hit the plus button in the bottom right. And then you need to just add a tag as well, which you can see on the screen. It will tell you at the bottom. Apart from Lindsay, yeah, she's just god awful. She drags this place down with the cute dogs. Yeah, the dogs are always out of the way because they just come in here and they like knock my lights over and stuff while I'm on the live stream. So, oh, Jesse, I don't know what you're doing wrong. I don't know what you're doing wrong. Well, I think, wow, you got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So ask me a question. Ask me a question. We've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You've got to be quick with it though. Got to be quick with it. Cool. Who inspires me? Oh, good question. That's a good question. Oh, thank you, Milo, for dropping that link in. I appreciate it. Go have a listen to that. Go have a listen to that podcast. Say, if you go over there, please, even if you just click on it right now. Is that the episode with me in, is it? I'm trying to copy it. Sorry, 2 seconds. Milo, sorry, is that the link to his channel with the pod on? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, even if you go over there right now, if you guys can go over there and drop a comment saying Joel sent me, I would greatly appreciate it. Just head over there, say Joel sent me, great pod, something like that. Just some sort of update, that'd be sick. That'd just show some love in there. But yeah, who inspires me? Good question. Great question. People inspire me for different things. There's the who inspires me art-wise. There's who inspires me as a person, and who inspires me as a creator. Like on the art side of things, you know, I do really appreciate like Philip Shue. He's just unbelievable. His work is unreal. I appreciate a lot of traditional artists. I hate to say Bob Ross because it's kind of like I joke about it, not joke about it, but I talk, you know, I speak about it a lot. But his work is truly just nuts, and I love it. And the fact that he used to do it in half an hour live on telly is just insane. Well, pre-recorded, but full telly, but in half an hour is just insane. So like Bob Ross and Philip Shue, I don't necessarily know quite a lot of artists because I try to not follow too many, because then again you end up with that comparison sort of situation. Like I don't want to see too many things that then without me knowing influences the work that I do. As a creator, I appreciate a lot of different people. That podcast that Milo put a link to earlier up there, that podcast is fantastic because it speaks to people of different spaces on YouTube, and I love hearing it because I love hearing them. And every time I listen to it in the car, I want to go home and record a video immediately. Like it's just, I want to go home because I'm hearing them talk about this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I just need to get home. I just need to do something proactive for the channel. James is actually quite a big inspiration for the fact that as well, like he's just willing to reach out, like which is cool. His work as well is sick, obviously. Like just makes it look so easy, makes it look like a breeze. You know, from a creative point of view as well, Flo's like a big inspiration as well, obviously. You know, just absolutely just nailing it one after the other. It's awesome to see. But I also love seeing the people that are like on the up as well, like Funky, Funky T Creations, like, you know, turning out the Patreon tutorials and stuff, and like was in an article the other day, and like that's freaking cool. Like that makes me want to like work harder, because like I want to make sure like I'm doing as much as them as well, you know, like just constantly working harder and doing more. So yeah, we'll leave it at that one for that answer, but hopefully that answered your question. Add to the watch later, and we'll add the comment. Appreciate it, Tracy. It was last year. It was last like October, I think. So yeah, things then have changed. I think I was on 26,000 subscribers. I'm on 36,000 now. So we're still progressing and growing, which is cool. I said in that podcast as well, I wanted to create a second channel, and I did. Didn't realize obviously the work involved, but you know, we'll brush over that for a minute. But a lot of what I said just still matters, still exactly the same. So Jesse says, how do I tag? Can you show me? I'll send you some screenshots afterwards, or some, if I don't know if anyone else can help. Team Deer, yeah, can't wait to watch your podcast, Void. I appreciate it, and thank you for dropping in as well. If you listen to it, it's just an easy listen. It's quite a fascinating YouTube. It's fascinating to listen to people from all different lives that also have a YouTube channel and create content. It's just crazy. Funky's awesome, yeah, she's killing it. Oh, the movie Paint. I didn't even know there was a movie. That's cool. So, yeah, that hopefully answers your question. Hopefully it answers your question. Right, so that's it. We created this cool design today. I'm happy with it. We added the little mist design in, which is like a nice little addition towards the end. I like how it looks. It looks pretty cool. Guys, if you haven't already checked it out, just go check out the hoodies. Maybe you fancy one of the Trust the Process merch as well. Links are in the description down below. New tutorial, of course, coming out Friday. And if you're a patron, you got a sneak peek today of the next Patreon exclusive tutorial, which is coming out next Tuesday, of course. And yeah, we just keep going, just week in, week out, new tutorials, same old support from everybody, which is fantastic. And yes, that's it really. I'm just going to wrap it there. Yes, it is time. I'm going to call it a night for sure. Guys, please be sure to drop a like on the video if you haven't already. I appreciate you as always. Massive appreciation for all of you coming and hang out with me every single Wednesday. Whether or not we do something good or do something bad, it doesn't matter. You're all here and we all get to hang out for a bit. Tracy says, get larger size merch. Big girls want to trust the process. I think there's like, I'll triple check that. I'm pretty sure everything's in there. I think that they give me the options to, but I'll triple check. Yeah, but massive love to every single one of you for all of your support. I'll see you again on Wednesday for show, and make sure to listen to the podcast and also keep an eye out for the video coming out on Friday. Another kind of silhouette one, but this time with like a moonlit scene as well. So yeah, appreciate you all hanging out. Have a wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend. Hopefully it's a creative one, and I'll see you again next Wednesday. Much love to all of you.